All right, so we're basically a quarter way through the season right now. Some teams have played 10 games and some have only played 9. And, 9.5 times 4, since I'm a math whiz, is 38, as in 38 match weeks. So today I'm just going to be doing a little quarterly review and, just getting into my key takeaways so far and predictions going forward. So, yeah, without further ado, let's just get into this because, got places to be. Um, my first takeaway is that with health, Liverpool are the undisputed, without a doubt, best team in the league. You know, I just watched them beat up on Leicester 3-0 without like so many of their key guys, and it was easy for them. So, and also they tied City without Van Dijk or Gomez, I want to say. I'm not sure, but I mean that's pretty impressive, man. You got to hand it out to these boys. Now, are they still going to be able to be the best team in the league and win without Gomez, Van Dijk, and whoever else they may be missing? Because they're missing a few guys right now. I'm not sure. So let's get into my second point, which is my confirmed title contenders, as in the only 5 teams I'm giving a shot to win the league this season. You could probably guess them, but if you want to pause the video right now, guess, go ahead, whatever. But my 5, obviously Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, Manchester United, and Manchester City. Okay, so Man U and Man City are kind of like the outliers of this group because, there's been talk about Ole and Pep Guardiola not keeping their job at the end of the season. I think every time there's that sort of discussion or debate, the season is not going to go well for that team or not as great. It's They're not going to win the league. Okay, just trust me, just trust me. Okay, even though they can be one of the best, if not the best teams at their best, they're not playing that consistently. There's not that like good vibe consistency about either of those clubs. Maybe they'll find their groove early enough. Who knows? I'm saying Chelsea and Spurs are the contenders. Why? Spurs second season Jose, Kane and Son looking like the best duo in world football right now. Højbjerg might be the best defensive midfielder in the Premier League right now. They're playing really well. They got their tactics right. The vibes are good. Everything is good. Chelsea, similar. Lampard's doing a great job in his second season. Second season, Lampard might be a thing. They have so much depth. They bought so many players in this transfer window. They solidified a top 4, in my opinion. They've got all these. They have like 3 strikers who can give you like 15 goals on a decent Premier League team. They're good. Like, look, they're good. They got good vibes. Everything. Those are my contenders. Now, who are the best of the rest? Besides those 5 teams, who's the next best team? And it's between Leicester, Wolves, Southampton, Villa, West Ham, healthy Everton, or just Everton in general. Who would I pick? Now, I know a lot of people are saying Everton. Oh, Everton might win the league. Everton's going to compete. Da, da, da. Look at them now. They're struggling. Missing 2 fullbacks, and they're just... I mean, obviously, that's a terrible thing to happen, but they're not as deep as these other teams. That's why they're not contenders, obviously. Leicester, similar thing there. Wolves just don't have a lot of that. I'm actually going to say Southampton. Earlier in the year, I would have said Aston Villa. They started the season off 4-0, and then I made a video about them, and yikes. Okay, so Southampton, I really like their coach, Ralph Hasenhüttl, whatever. He's like Austrian or something weird. Like, shout out to him, though. Big ups to my man. Southampton's killing it right now. I love the little 4-4-2 throwback they play. Shea Adams, and he's kind of like the young guy, and then Danny Ings is a veteran alongside him. They're smashing it. Ings is out right now, but they still look good. They still almost beat a Manchester United team and a Wolves team without those two. Well, without Ings, and I think it's pretty impressive, because they're doing a lot with a little. Like they've got guys like Walcott, Armstrong, Genepo, like guys you don't really know too much about. Walker Peters, who's like a Spurs reject. No offense to him, he's just too young. Bertrand, who's like been in the league for a real long time. Banderek and Vestergaard, who I think is one of the best center backs in the world. I think he's absolute class. But Ward-Prowse, and also Spurs took away their best center mid, Højbjerg. So it's really impressive what they've been able to do, and I'm giving them. They're my shout to finish sixth this year. Obviously, I want it to be Villa. That's the team I'll predict in the future. But as of right now, I just gotta be. I gotta be fair. So I'm gonna give it to those boys at Southampton. Now, let me talk about Aston Villa real quick. Just like a quick shout out to them. I don't want to talk about them too much because ever since I made a video about them when they were 4-0, they've gone 1-4, and all like heartbreaking losses too. Like Grealish almost scored the goal of the season versus Leeds United, and then like a few minutes later, and they also almost scored before that and stuff. A few minutes later, they concede, and then Bamford ended up going on and like scoring a hat trick versus them, and they lose 3-0, and then they start off terribly for Southampton, and then they end up losing the game 4-3 when they come back at the end and miss a million chances. And then same thing happens versus Brighton. They miss a million chances and then get screwed over by VAR and lose 2-1. And then same thing happens with West Ham. They lose 2-1, get screwed over or something like that. Look, I just want to lift the curse off Villa, so I'm just going to say it right now. Villa is going to get relegated, okay? They're going to get relegated. They're going to finish in 20th place. They're not going to win a game for the rest of the season. Bet. Being said that, Jack Grealish, next takeaway, he is a top 10 player in the league, confirmed. I'm done. I made that video about like my analytical analysis, whatever. I put him at like 17 maybe. That's my guess. I don't remember, but it was outside the top 10. Just because he wasn't putting up the best numbers, guess this season, he's putting up numbers with very little help. It's not like they went out and got some box office striker like Ollie Watkins, man. He's missing PKs left and right. You got Trezeguet missing tap-ins. You probably don't even know who Trezeguet is if you're watching this. It's been rough for Villa, but Grealish, you got to watch him, man. Watch his highlights. Watch a game of his. He's box office every game. He's putting up a highlight tape, it seems. Also, just a quick shout out to these players because I can't get too into this. I got to, finish my key takeaways, make this video not too long. But Bruno Fernandes, he's a player I slept on. I didn't really sleep on. I put him in my top 10. But yeah, I mean, he's been class. I gotta, give him his credit where it's due. Man, he's a great playmaker. I don't care if his PKs are weird or if he misses some of them and it looks goofy or whatever. If Manchester United are extremely lucky and VAR is 100% on their side, so what? Shout out to Fernandes, man. He's been putting in work. He's United's best player. Obviously, shout out to Kane and Son, best duo in world football. I don't know if I already mentioned that, but, this season is true. Son's got 9 goals. Kane's got 9 assists in 10 games. It's just, that's class, man. Timo Werner, also another guy I kind of slept on. Shout out to him. He should be a little higher on my list than I put him. I just didn't know too much about him yet because he only played in the Bundesliga at the time I made the video, but he reminds me of Mo Salah a lot, a guy who's not really, like, the best finisher in the world, doesn't really take his chances the best, kind of makes some like poor decisions for the team, but he's just so dynamic and so fast, and he has that X factor that just makes him an incredible player. So shout out to Werner. You're going to make Chelsea a contender this year. Good for you, man. F Chelsea at the same time. Shout out to Højbjerg. That's the last one I'm going to mention. Best center defensive mid this season in the Premier League. Coming in from Southampton, making a real impact on Jose Mourinho's side. He's been sensational. Now let's just move on to my quick predictions. All right, so we got relegation, promotion, no, not promotion, top 4, and title winner. So relegation, I'm gonna go with. I had Fulham first, right, at the beginning of the season, but they've been playing so well lately. I actually kind of like watching Fulham too. Like, they got guys with some energy. They got Loftus-Cheek now. They got a lot of guys who could really play. They're not going to get relegated. It's going to be Sheffield, who only have 1 point at the moment. Burnley, who only have 5. And West Brom, who have like 6, I believe. West Brom is like, I feel real bad for them. Like, they almost beat Man U, but then they lost that game 1-0. They're just a team that doesn't know how to win games. Like, they were up 3-0 on Chelsea, and they drew 3-3. I get that Chelsea's a juggernaut, but still, like, you got to find a better defensive identity and more goal scorers. They don't really have a true Premier League striker, so GG to them. Burnley, same with them. They like to, park the bus and then counter, and they've got good strikers that like to score some scrappy goals or whatever. But it doesn't seem like that game plan is working for them this season, and they definitely don't have a backup plan. So unless that just things start to change for them, GG, goodbye, have fun in the championship, and they're not going to come back anytime soon. Thank God, because I hate Burnley. Now, top 4. As we mentioned, Spurs are playing phenomenal this season, Chelsea and Liverpool. And for me, I can't think of a top 4 without those 3. So that's just how it is. It's hard to think of a top 4 in any season in general without City or Manchester United, but they just seem so inconsistent, and that's why I didn't say they were contenders. So which of the 2 am I going to put in the top 4? No matter of fact, why don't I just run through my top 5? 5 to 1, and I'll just end the video. Alright, so 5, I'm going to go Manchester United. They kind of started off the season looking like sort of a joke. And I think that they will at times revisit that phase. Like, how do you lose to Arsenal in the way Arsenal's playing this season? That's sad. I know that they can be phenomenal at their best, but I mean, 6-1 to Spurs as well. I mean, I know Spurs are the best team in the league, but it's just sad, man. I just don't really see them contending, man. Like, maybe they could finish top 4, but I don't see it. I see, as crazy as it sounds, Manchester City finishing in 4th. Yes. I think that there's just something wrong there. Like, defensively, they're not so sound. The chemistry's not all there. De Bruyne is still maybe the best player in the league, but nothing is really clicking for them at the moment. So City's going to be my 4. 3, I'm going to go Chelsea just because they're so stacked and you can't leave them out. But their defense has been, it's bar sus, man. 2, I'm going to go Liverpool. Yeah, Liverpool, the team I said was the best team in the league, even without a lot of players. I'm going to put them at 2. I think that this is just a real unlucky season for them. It's real hard to repeat, for 1. And 2, they're being screwed over by injuries and COVID complications and all that. And I just think that that trend is sort of going to continue. They're already missing their 2 starting center backs. And, like, I don't know, man. Like, Thiago is, like, real injury prone. And then Fabinho has to play center back. What happens if he gets injured or Matip gets injured? I think Spurs are going to steal it this year. I don't think they necessarily deserve to, because I think in a season where everyone's fully healthy, you know, they might not be able to pull it off. But I think that they're going to steal it. I think that things are going to keep trending in their direction. And, yeah, I mean, we'll see where I'm at halfway through the season. But for now, those are my predictions. So, yeah, guys, really, I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did watch it the whole way through, I appreciate that. And I'm sorry that these videos are so long. I'm trying to work on condensing them. But it's just content, man. It's just how I'm thinking. I'm new to this YouTube stuff, so I'm really just learning. But if you did enjoy parts of the video, at least, I would appreciate if you would, you know, just leave a like or a comment or a subscribe or all 3 if you're a real one.
I blew a check on the fit. Look at my neck and my wrist. I wanted $1 million before I hit 30, so now I can flex in the whip.